Welcome to the Ghost Room podcast. My name is Bryce, and tonight we're going to be talking to Ghost Éire Paranormal. I've got Anthony Kerrigan here. Anthony, how are you doing?
I'm great, and thank you for welcoming me onto this show there, Bryce. Much appreciated.
Yes, thank you so much for being on. I know it's a much earlier hour where you are at. Where are you located in Killarney, on Ireland?
Yeah, I'm located in Killarney, County Kerry, so in the southwest of Ireland. When you first messaged me, I thought you were actually in town. Could you message me in Irish then? I thought, oh my God. And you said you're at the Riverside. I thought, studio. I thought, is that in town? No, yeah.
Did you speak any Irish, any Gaeilge?
Yeah, burger, count, small talk.
Yeah.
Tommy, Anthony O'Kiragwan, Tommy, I think it's Carga, which is 44, I think. Sheelam, I think. But it's. I know bits. I can make sentences, small bits. Yeah.
That's awesome. I've been learning the language recently myself and trying to teach the kids. So to Bioga and Gaeilge Agam, I've only got a little bit, but yeah, really fun. So yeah, go ahead and tell me about the group. How long you guys have been around? How you chose the name?
Yeah, so we've been around since 2009. Well, I established a team back then. There was a group of. I used to do door security work. I worked as a bouncer, do security at nightclubs, fast food restaurants, etc. And a group of us decided one night to go out to do a little ghost hunt in a nearby castle grounds. Anyway, it's in a national park. So we've got loads of woodland around here in Killarney. Since that day back in 2009, I'm the only person out of about 20 of us that were on that first night still doing the paranormal investigating. So over the years, over those first few years, people left because they probably got more seriously into it. And I suppose they weren't thinking of going places in and around Ireland. But the name Ghost Éire, we thought of like obviously ghost. Everyone loves got some sort of the majority of the teams, I suppose 25%, 20% of the teams are got ghost in them.
Yeah.
And Éire is an Ireland.
Right. So what would that be? Taifsha Éire?
Say that again.
Would that be I think in Gaeilge, Taifsha is the word for ghosts, I think.
Taifsha, yeah, it could be pucker as well. Poker. There's various words for derivatives of that word. Yeah.
Great. So been around since 2009, so that's coming up on a good 17 years, is that?
Yeah, I try and think. Yeah, 17 years. I forget now. It's 18 years now next year. Yeah, next April.
Yeah, wow. That's incredible. So you started this group, right?
Yeah. So it was my idea to do it. I bought a couple of equipment, as you would say on the internet. It was one of these old style kind of EMF Geiger counters, an EMF Gauss meter, Gauss meter, sorry, that was a Gauss meter. It was used on Most Haunted when that show in England, when it was in the early 2000s. So this was around 2009. They were still selling these like kind of black boxes with a little dial on them, which would measure in milligauss. So I used that. Back then, I suppose getting video cameras was kind of expensive at that time then. Trying to get a night vision camera was expensive back in those days, So I used to loan one from a local photographer, so I borrowed that.
Yeah.
And it was on a tape cassette then as well. So so I had to transfer from tape onto a file then,
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So in your email, you said you do this with your wife Jennifer and your friend Sinead.
Yeah. So but Sinead's taken a break from us for the past 2 years there. Hopefully she'll come back again, hopefully there. Jem, my wife, we met through another friend that was in the team recently, and we've been together since 2010. We married in 2013, but Jennifer is my big rock. Thanks. It's a bit late. Cheers, Breeze.
Well, better late than never, right?
I know, yeah, congratulations. I know. Yeah, well, thanks. I know, I understand there, But, yeah, it's 2013. We got married. We had a pagan hand fasting type of ceremony in an Irish
that's what my
castle.
wife and I did as
And
well.
did you?
Yeah.
Did you have it? Did you have it in Ireland as well?
No, I unfortunately I have not yet gone. It's on my bucket list.
Oh, definitely. Well, if you need a place to stay, just let me know. You know, accommodation.
Pop over
You
to
know,
Anthony's house. There
yeah,
you go.
definitely,
Well, I
definitely.
appreciate that.
And you know, I don't understand if you want to go off some other night then yourselves. You know, if you know, but if I stay a few nights to cheapen the accommodation, whilst over here, you're more than welcome.
Oh yeah. Wow.
But
If I get there, I'll take you up on it. I promise.
definitely there. You know, we could do a house sharing. I'll go over there, you come
Yeah.
over here. You know, people do that
Yeah.
anyway.
You are more than welcome at my
Always.
place.
Always. Cheers there, please.
So, what area do you guys tend to cover? How far do you go for investigations?
So we've been to, like, for the first, I suppose, the first decade, we were based mainly in Ireland, and then we decided then, you know, whilst visiting relatives in Boston, that we're going to do our first investigation abroad, and that was at the Fairbanks
Wow.
house in Dedham in Massachusetts. It was the oldest timber structure in North America, the Fairbanks house. I think it
Yeah.
dates back. Have you heard of it?
Yeah. My wife's from Massachusetts, and we lived there for a while together. Also.
Yeah. So you definitely heard of it. You know
Yeah.
definitely seen it. Yeah, yeah. That was it's cool. It's cool the type of different atmosphere, especially when you investigated. And that time it was very humid. The night we did it there. But then we decided then we got a bit of a travel bug and decided that after we had two children since uh, 2016 when we first went to Boston. We had two children, and then so every now and again we travel abroad, so, but we're not planning to go anywhere far away at the moment because we've got another project coming up with filming for the second series. This is exclusive, I shouldn't be saying this, but this is on your show there, Brees. We're going to be doing a second series of Phantasm Collective this year
Oh,
coming. So
great. Yeah, I can't wait to get into that later in tonight. It seems like you're doing a ton of things. But wow, okay, a
yeah,
broad
yes.
investigations. I guess I have to consider Ireland is much smaller of a place than America is. And so you
Mm.
probably go all over Ireland then.
Yeah, yeah, some place like as I said, we're based on the southwest of Ireland. We haven't really gone to the north, right at the top of Ireland, Northern Ireland, much. We've only done
Right.
a very few handful of places up there. The cost of probably going that far with the way the travel is in Ireland is too much. That's why we decided
Yeah.
now we've done more places in around the local vicinity that it's best to go abroad and cheaper. Like even going to England is cheaper than going up to the north of Ireland with the transport system.
Really?
Yes, it would be. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's a big surprise. Wow, would not have guessed.
It is. Yes.
Wow.
A lot of teams are doing that now in Ireland. They're going abroad because the mostly long established teams after a certain while do that after a while because as you said, it's such a small country that there's a limited amount of places available, and there's a limited amount of places that allow ghost hunters in or paranormal investigators in now because the cost of keeping these old traditional buildings is too much, insurance and it's the cost of everything's just gone up.
Yeah, I try to keep up a little to date with it. There's a lot going on in Ireland right now. Okay, so
Mm.
well, okay, that's awesome that you guys are
Yeah.
traveling abroad. Have you done other countries besides America?
So we were, as I said, the UK. We've been to
UK.
the vaults in Edinburgh, the Nidri Street vaults. We've also been to Woodchester Mansion in Gloucestershire in England. That's a very interesting building. It's featured in many shows. I think it was featured in Most Haunted. Um, Maybe featured in other American shows. A lot of American paranormal investigators have gone there. It's a Woodchester Mansion is a mansion that nobody actually lived in. It was built, and they ran out of money to facilitate it. It cost so much, but the artwork, it's just amazing. The architecture in that of that mansion. Also, or recently we were in Old Amersham which is in Wickham, which is just outside London, and then just a few months ago we were at Derby Jail near Derby, which is managed by Richard Felix, who was the historian on the Most Haunted shows, the live shows and the episodes, and he's currently runs there. Like, so if there's any American people watching this, or anybody from England or worldwide, it's a good place to go. Derby Jail. It's Richard's done a nice package for people that want to do an investigation there, and it's a very unique history to the place. Loads of people were hung there. One of the famous highwaymen, William Buxton, was hung there, was imprisoned there, and was hung. He managed to escape, if my history's right, a few times. He was called, I think it was called the friendly highwayman or the generous highwayman. I think it's something like that. Anyway, I won't know too much about it, but I know a little bit. So.
Well, I'm not sure how many paranormal investigators get to travel outside of the country for this. Have you noticed any difference between hauntings in Ireland versus other countries?
I suppose differences in hauntings. I suppose it's hard to say. Like, no,
I'm not sure
it's
there
not.
would
So I
be,
suppose we're all
but
trying to contact the other side. It doesn't matter where we are. As in terms of, I suppose it's how we interpret ourselves, how we present ourselves on these locations. And as I said
right.
again, I suppose it's how the environment is in that area when we're doing it. As I mentioned about the Fairbanks house we did in 2016, it was just after, I remember it was a hurricane which hit a few days beforehand. I think it was Puerto Rico, and it was hitting the coast of Massachusetts, so there was a lot of humidity there. So I was sweating books. I was sweating a lot, loads, and because with the Fairbanks house, it's a low ceiling, and I'm very tall, 6'3", so the dynamics of having to move around and crouch. Plus, Jen was pregnant at the time, my wife, so there was a lot of.
That's rough.
Yeah, we were all roasted, but Jen was roasted even more. Because she was like an oven, you could say, there with a baby in her. But yeah, that's that. And we were at the USS Hornet on the San Francisco a couple of years ago, and that was different. That was the USS Hornet warship, American warship in Alameda, in Oakland, just over the bay, San Francisco Bay. But that was different as well. It's like you have to watch your head because you hit off, the kind of square kind of doorways there. And you could trip over easily because it's a warship. You got those little, I don't know what they're called there, but it's hard to get your feet over. Right. You might trip over. But as you said, the dynamics of investigating in different locations, the temperature, the environment, the habitat as well is very interesting as well. You just never know what animals are around that could be causing noises that you might think is an EVP, which isn't. It could be something like a fox, which we have quite a lot here, which can, if you go on YouTube and look up fox noises, they do tend to go especially the vixen female fox, and hedgehogs go like real demonic kind of sounds. So if you're in the woods in Ireland, you might hear some scary noises, but it's mostly the animals. It can be the animals.
Yeah, there's seems to be a lot of instances of that. It seems it'd be really beneficial to learn animal sounds to be able to detect them in these situations, because there are the more I look into it, there are some weird sounding animals out there.
There is, yeah, and then that's just the animals, and there's the Homo sapiens, which is us. So,
Yeah.
So we could be, so from a distance, especially if you're working on a place near water, yourself, on water, sound travels even further. So there could be a party in town and you can hear it. If it's a few miles away, you can still hear those sounds or screams.
Well, it's good to see paranormal investigators really take in consideration all the things it could possibly be to rule them out.
True, Bruce.
So what got you into this?
So what brought me into this? So going back before I started the team, I had an interest in watching TV shows. I got my Had the X Files T-shirt on here, so I used to watch X Files.
Oh, great.
Used to watch Most Haunted, Ghost Hunters International. I suppose there's a famous show called Ghost Watch, which was kind of it wasn't real. It was just a staged kind of poltergeist case. It was broadcasted on. I don't know if you heard of it. It was broadcasted on the BBC, I think, in 1991 or two, and it was on Halloween. And I watched that on Halloween night. Now, it scared the shit out of me. I didn't know it was fake. The reason being, it was because he had a respected talk show host presenting it. He didn't fake. He wasn't an actor. And secondly, they had a children's program host presenting it as well, and she appeared on children's TV, sort of promoting it, which was weird.
Huh.
One fellow, if you look up Ghost Watch, one fellow actually committed suicide after watching the program. It really shook him because he thought it was real.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that really scared the hell out of me. So since then, I was never afraid of the dark because it scared the fear out of me.
Yeah.
My fear was gone. But yeah, I had a motorcycle accident in 2001. My rugby career sort of was on the end, coming towards 2008. So then that's when I decided, do I carry on with my rugby career, or do something that's going to be probably last a bit more, definitely longer, which is paranormal investigating.
Well, you played rugby as well?
Yeah. Do you play rugby as well?
No, I don't know much about it. I hear it's pretty rough.
It can be. It can be. Good fun though.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I don't play anymore.
Okay.
God no.
Well, I'm excited. I'm gonna have to check out that ghost hunt show.
Yeah. Ghost
So,
Watch. Yeah.
go ahead and walk me through some of the notable places you guys have investigated. One of the ones that pop out to you.
So there's a lot of great places we've had the fortunate to be investigating, and a lot of them, every single place has been a joy to do. Some of them, I won't single one out. I won't single one out for being scary, because I don't often really feel scared. I feel dumbfounded by some things that do happen on these investigations when we've gone there on site. But also, I think it's the research that has really stood out for me, and one of them was definitely the Hellfire Club in Limerick, which wasn't known as the Hellfire Club in Limerick. It was Ballinagard House, kind of mansion house, now a ruined building. But we got permission to be on the land and do a study, an investigation there, conduct a few sessions, like calling out sessions. We did a seance, we did a mock kind of card game. Now we knew that had some sort of link to the Hellfire Club with the owner, but we didn't know that the actual Hellfire Club was actually there. We didn't know it was actually their meetings were there. It was through research we did the talking board, which is the Ouija board, and many people may frown upon this there, but we use it as a specific kind of research tool. We ask specific questions to try and find if there's any answers to the history. Now, that building, all over the internet, said it was built in 1780, and we found out through the talking board that the building was built in 1740. Yes, so from the talking board. Now we felt
Oh, wow.
it was adamant it was 1740 this building was built. On the internet, on the Buildings of Ireland, where it's this big library of buildings that are built around Ireland, it states 1780. The land was owned, and that building was erected in 1780. So we asked the owner, and he said, yes, that's wrong. That's not on the internet or anywhere else. It was built in 1740. From looking at the way the building is, there's a portrait done of 12 men and one woman. The site, it looks like after doing some fox hunting with some hounds, they're all congregated around a round table on the portrait. It looks like that room is part of that mansion, and there's a kind of viewing, kind of great, a Gregorian, a kind of what you could say outer. It's like it's a conservatory with columns going down, Greek columns, and this is where the portrait was probably done because it had enough lighting for the painter Joe Worsdale to do. So that's what we found out afterwards, because the portrait kind of matches what the mansion house does, and there was a kind of poem that was written, and it talks about the owner John Croker and how they used to go and do foolish, well, not foolish, debauchery, having servants be at their wake and call, and it goes on about the wine that John Croker has is amazing, and the fun they have. And the only surviving part that's vaulted, which is roofed in that mansion, is the wine cellars. So that makes it even more interesting. So it all combines, the research and all that. What we got through the talk about that there was a servant that was sacrificed there. She was buried outside. We found out from the owner afterwards there was somebody buried on the grounds there. I don't know if you've seen the newspaper article that I showed you there.
Yeah, I was going to say, you sent me a great article about this, and I'll include it in the show notes.
Yeah, it was, that was probably the most fascinating of the investigations we've done, not to do with it being so scared. Now, there was a bit airy there, especially in the dark, in around that place there. And plus there's a devil story associated. That's what we did as one of the experiments. As I said just earlier on, we did a reenactment. It was a card game, and it was to do with the devil appearing at the house, and they played a card game, and the butler saw his feet and his clothing hooves, and he shot off through the building. Same as any other Hellfire Club location, it does have a devil story to it, so that was another link to it. It puts it aside from another place that is called the Limerick Hellfire Club in another village called Askeaton, which wouldn't have been it because it's just an odd brick building. They wouldn't have had servants there on beck and call as they would do at this mansion. And in the portrait it's got the wine, and it's got the dogs, and it's got a young boy. So it's all to do with John Croker being on site there, and the dogs being there, the hunting dogs on the mansion, on the land where he had loads of land, not in this little village, elsewhere. So the details, the finer details, we pinpoint that this place was the Limerick Hellfire Club, the original Limerick Hellfire Club, and the owner John was like, wow, this is amazing, No,
it's incredible to be able to have someone back up what you're finding out during your investigation.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
It was great.
So would you consider that, or another location, a location that has the most activity you've noticed?
Well, that's probably research. Most activity, I suppose. One place I did find kind of eerie is there's kind of dynamics. One place I found eerie that I felt like somebody was watching me was Voss Castle in County Meath. This castle was home to a former chieftain, a clan leader, who was called Slasher Miles. Slasher Miles, I think his name. But even the word slasher, you got to be wary. You're always looking around. You're always looking.
Absolutely.
Who's there in that corner? Well, you always felt that presence. And we were there with a radio station on one Halloween, and we were there with the crew there, and behind my back, a vase went flying. Now I don't know if that was to do with a ghost, or whether that was done by the radio crew just for a gimmick, but which is kind of bad, which is bad. But I didn't see it myself. I could hear it come behind me. Now there was somebody behind me there, so it could have been fake there. But it is an eerie presence in that place, and there has been sounds called that big footsteps, footfalls, loud footfalls, and that's one place. A place that you're always looking around your shoulder, or is Duckett's Grove, where the Banshee was being seen in County Carlow. Now Duckett's Grove is a place that is owned by Carlow County Council, but nobody can go in there now at the moment, unfortunately, because it's dilapidated. The building is kind of in a very ruined state. But there's doorways everywhere. So you know yourself there, Bruce, when you know yourself when you investigate a place with loads of doorways, you're always expecting somebody to come in at some certain point. So if if there's a doorway at the four walls you're in, you're always expecting somebody behind you there to come in. You're kind of open to an attack, you know. So it was not that I was wary of my teammates. It felt spooky, you know. That's the place there, you know. But places like that are cool.
Wow, those are great. So how do you guys go about finding places to investigate? Do you more often you seek them out, or do you get a lot of requests for investigations?
I don't. We don't get requests. I know some teams like big themselves up and say, yeah, we get requests being asked to come into it, but that's only if they've been floating around there. Or you know, most of the time it's BS. You know, ourselves.
Yeah.
We've been around for 18 years, and we've probably been asked not by any public spots to come and investigate. We've been asked by probably about two handfuls of people, group about I suppose even probably just over a handful of people have asked us to visit their private house, their residence. You know, we put up on our website that there is a fee if we were to come to the house. Obviously, that's for travel. You know, because we're in this, as I said before, we're in the southwest of Ireland. If I was asked to go to Northern Ireland, I would expect a bit of money because of the travel expenses, obviously there.
Right.
Also, putting up on the website that there is a charge, lessens the possibility of people just looking for a free ghost hunt. You know, for us to come and visit them.
Yeah.
You know, I have no issue with people being in contact me asking what's happening in the house. That does happen a lot. Asking, and I message them back, or I send an email back, or I phone them back if it's really distressing them there. Usually there's an explanation for some things that does occur, and most of them find a peace of mind, you know. So we were recently, in the past couple of years, we were asked to go to the Irish Wake Museum in Waterford. The Irish Wake, it's a museum dedicated to death, as you could say. It's got memorabilia of funeral artifacts. There's reports of silhouettes of figures being seen, children being seen in reflective glass cabinets. We were asked to do that, but I initially asked them if we could go and do, like, because of the way the building is, and to do a séance, a trial, a test on site with a séance, but to test temperature and wind speed. That was the most frequent for the sensed anomalies that occurred during the séance. So I was just testing for that temperature and wind speed, so drafts, cold air and all, etc. there. But we did get footfalls from next door, and apparently there was nobody next door living. So his footsteps was heard and were caught on camera. So that was it. That was great. But yes, going back to your original question there, Cybeast, yeah, we don't get asked all the time, you know, to be going places there.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys are often seeking them out. I mean, it's an old place. There's got to be a lot of ghost stories out there.
There is, definitely.
So okay, walk me through, what sort of equipment do you use?
Okay, so I always like to go and do a pre-visit of a location. So maybe in the past we just went straight there. You know, say we booked the place over the phone or internet, email. We would just go straight there and investigate it. Now we love to do a pre-visit of the place, and that would initially we'd take photographs, have a talk with the manager or owner of the property. Then we would do a few base tests, like the electro field and the magnetic field. Also, just run a plan, see what we can do, what kind of sessions, what kind of experiments we can do for that later date. We do drone footage of the place, the landscape around, because it's not just the building that might be interesting to investigate, it's what's around the exterior of the building that might have an influence over environmental factors. Like, say, if there's, you know yourself, if there's masts like radio masts or wind turbines close by, or just traffic going up and down. If it's on a gradient or whatever, there's these interesting things in the landscape that we would need to know before we investigate it. So then,
Yeah, that's got to be really helpful using the drone to look at all of that.
yeah, it's just
Yeah, I think that's the first I've heard of that. That's
yeah,
good.
it's just to see what the landscape is like around, and we do a 360 of the building and see around. But it's
Right.
be nosy as well. Just an excuse to be nosy. But that's what you've got to be. If you, that's one thing. If you're a paranormal investigator, you've got to be thinking nose. My language. You got to be nosy as well, because you're in these people's buildings. You've got to be. So a bit of you's got to be nosy. But yes, we do that. We do that, and we do about. So we come back to the building. We do more base testing, checking the sound, checking the temperature and humidity, and we do about 4 sessions, 20 minutes to half an hour sessions on that investigation. And these can range from doing experiments such as the talking board, Ouija board, a seance, automatic drawing and writing, to other experiments which may involve not ghosts or survival, to do with ESP, doing experiments on telepathy, precognition, clairvoyance. So doing experiments on those, testing our own ESP as well, remote viewing, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's it's doing those not just to do with spirits. It gives us a time as a group to come together and test ourselves with experiments on ourselves as well, not just what's in a spiritual kind of form.
No, absolutely. I mean, it'd be the right space.
True.
So,
Yeah.
so that's sort of your investigative process as well. Is you guys do the pre-investigation, and you said you come in and do 4 sessions.
Yeah, it could be depending on the time that we have, the location. Roughly that would be about four. 'Cause by the time you get the stuff ready, that's about 4 hours by the time you get yourself ready to prepare an experiment and all that.
Yeah.
With the base testing as well beforehand, then as well, that's included. Now the main research then comes afterwards. Yourself there. It's looking at what you've got through audio, sound, for audio, visual, photographs, whatever experiments the people have done and maybe been doing, automatic drawing or writing. You look at the pictures. There's loads of things you have to review. Where the planchette has gone on the talking board, how many rotations it's done, which letter it's gone to, who asked this question, what a person felt, and all that. You know yourself. There's loads of things you have to write about and type down afterwards. There,
Oh yeah, it's a long, long process
it is. It
to
is.
review all
Yeah.
of that. So
True.
okay, you're awesome. That's cool. You bring in mediums. You're testing your own ESP, remote viewing. You're doing automatic writing. You're doing Ouija boards. Do you guys use a lot of other of some of the technical equipment, like the EMF readers? I don't know, some people use spirit boxes, etc., stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, we don't just do all that in one night. God, we'd be very, we won't be leaving there. We'd be there for a week,
Yeah.
But we vary it up from different locations. Obviously, it depends on the type of haunting that people. We look at the haunting, so we follow the 4 steps of scientific approach. So we do the observation, the hypothesis, experimentation, and the analysis. So we look at how we're going to get the best evidence. Now, as you said, like at that séance that we did at the Wake Museum, we didn't get anything, which is great. The best results of a paranormal investigation is when you don't get anything. There was no wind speed, there was no temperature. The temperature rose more than it would freeze than with a normal séance. But we weren't expecting the footsteps from the next door house. So we kind of target the kind of the stuff that generally happens there. As you know, it's so spontaneous, haunted activity that we can't really capture all the time. But yeah, it takes months for us to review, and it takes about, obviously one investigation would take about 3 months for myself. I'm
Right.
lazy as well, but I'm not that lazy. But it takes a while just to
No, there's so much
Mm.
to go through, and then you have to consider every aspect of each one of those things and what all the possibilities could be. Then just to rule it out, I mean, it's an incredible process.
True.
Well, that's great. You brought up that it depends on the type of haunting, and that's my next question. How does the type of haunting change your process?
Okay, so type of fire changes process. Just go back to your original because I don't think I fully answered it. Like the EMF kind of measuring, that's just like for the base test. We don't use any devices that is seen mostly in the ghost hunting field. The 40, $50, euro boxes that supposedly detect ghosts with lights.
Yeah, yeah. But let's say when you're doing your pre-investigation, you go in, maybe through talking with the owner, poltergeist or
Mm.
more violent, people experiencing scratches or burns, or maybe something that's a little more,
Mm.
nonchalant about it, or whatever word I would use there.
Yeah.
Do those change your process?
Oh, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, there's things that do change the process. As I said, there we were looking at the lighting as well for the Irish Wake Museum. We were looking at the lighting, I suppose, because people have said they've seen figures as silhouettes. So we got a thing called a spectrometer, and it measures the lighting of the rooms. So it measures this in lux, luminosity, so we could see if there was any what type of lighting is used there in the daylight and what type of lighting is there, say when there's no lights, when there's no artificial lighting. Um, what we could say is that with those few minutes of recordings, you can't guarantee there's going to be a ghost appearance. So it doesn't. We're only trying to measure what's there, really, mostly on a kind of regular kind of time. It doesn't. There's not going to be a ghost
Right.
that pop out. Um, but yeah, most of these stuff. The main thing, I suppose, with all the equipment, the electronic kind of stuff, is data, and that's the data is the main thing. Is collecting units of measurement,
Yeah.
and that's the main thing. So if it's EMF, if it's electro fields, volts per meter squared. If it's magnetic field, it'd be milligauss. Sound decibels, etc. Is measuring all these kind of um, making using pure science to measure what kind of activity. Well, it's not activity, but the kind of environment that we're working in. And then we can judge by whatever's been happening there with people witness accounts, then what kind of things that we could do there, and what can then obviously then with every paranormal investigator does is trying to make contact, and so we use those different
Oh,
divination
that's
kind of
great.
experiments.
So, are there a lot of other paranormal teams in your area? Do you ever work with any of them?
Yeah, yeah. So it's great to showcase other teams there. I presented a talk show, podcast show anyway myself there. I like to show what Ireland has got with other teams as well, and bring up interesting topics. But there's what like even just before I came on the show to you, Breeze, I was just thinking there's a lot of teams. I think paranormal investigating is losing its kind of the past couple of years, especially in Ireland, is losing its kind of interest. You know, I think more of the urban explorer is uh, more being watched. Urban explorers going into
Yeah,
abandoned
coming
buildings and
pretty trendy.
yeah, more trendy. That's the word. It's in the fashion. It's more fashionable to be an urban explorer now than it is to be a paranormal investigator. It's much quicker to get fame or get more hits to be an urban explorer than it is to be a paranormal investigator. So, and the expenses of going into places to investigate, to do kind of base testing and paranormal research is costing a lot of those. It's costing the investigator a lot of money.
Oh yeah, between equipment, travel, time to do it, and then like you said, I mean, it could be months of
Mm,
afterwards going through the evidence. It's
true.
it takes a lot. So you and I also now have a very dedicated listener to your show. It's so exciting.
Oh, cheers, cheers, Breeze.
So how do you guys try to stand out from other teams?
I stand out. I'm 6'3". That's me. That's how I stand out. I'm not joking, I'm messing. Stand out from other teams. I suppose. I suppose.
Is there anything you try to do do differently, or anything you try to if there's
I suppose we got all aims as a paranormal investigator, and probably our aims are different to other teams. I suppose. No, we don't try to be different. We just we probably have all different aims, or all the different teams or pathways that we choose to follow, and what we expect to, but what we think is the best way to go about it. There, our best way, I suppose, what is different about us is that I suppose we don't investigate a lot of times a year. There's a lot of people in our team that are family orientated and have got respectful jobs, so we have to and we're kind of at an age now with most of the team members that we've all got parents that unfortunately are not well, so we have to take, apart from looking after the younger generation, we're having to look after the older generation, which is right to do, rightly so. But
yeah,
absolutely. I suppose in Southern Ireland, as I was going back to, there's that other actual cost of which is insurance. We forgot to mention there, Bruce. That is probably adds to the bills as well. But myself, I don't see. I could be big-headed and say we're the ones to go to in Ireland, but there's plenty of other teams there that have got more knowledge on other stuff as well that I wouldn't have knowledge on, so and,
takes all kinds.
And there's people that would, yeah, you're right there, Bruce, and it would be people that would go along to follow other groups that were probably more akin to their style than myself there, so we're all different there, but it's good to, in total of paranormal teams in Ireland, I suppose it was around about, you could say there was about 60 to 70 around about 5 years ago. Probably now those that are active has probably gone down to about 15 to 20, so it's gone dramatically down.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's so you sent me over some EVP, some videos, some YouTube videos, so I'm going to see if I can go ahead and play some of these. So this is the Castle Matrix EVPs. Do you want to kind of talk us through this one real quick?
Oh yeah, so Castle Matrix was probably one of the first locations that we used the old night vision camera, and so what sorry, pardon me. What you see with the footage is what you see is like we're in an old kind of type of castle. It's what you hear, which is the anomalous behaviour, which is the sound that comes in it. Now I won't explain it just yet, but if you're going to show the video, but this is Castle. It's in County Limerick. It's dating from I think the 1400s, and I think it was a former home of poet Edmund Spenser, and Sir Walter Raleigh used to live there. I think he owned the castle as well once some stage.
Oh wow. Okay, well yeah, I'll go ahead and play it here.
That was.
40 minutes battery now. Yeah, 40 minutes. Yeah. So you?
Do you check the timings?
Oh, I just said. No, it wasn't me at all.
Hang on a second.
Just hang on back. There's
only room for three. So there's three in there at the moment. Because it's a little passage that just turns to the left.
I'll give you 11. I'd only get laps in there.
And you two are tall, so watch your heads.
I can just walk in there.
And especially when you come out. Because everybody forgets by the time they come out.
Oh, that's a door.
And that's a little passage. Now, I stood at that door and I asked my husband what had happened to all the little passages in the thickness of the walls and the little rooms in the thickness of the arches.
Pass it over.
And what's your head? Yeah. Watch your head's coming out because it's much lower than you think. And he stood there and looked me straight in the face and said they never existed. But you can see that's blocked from 3 directions.
40 minutes battery now. Yeah, 40 minutes. Yeah. Is that you?
Do you check
Like
the
breathing.
timings?
Oh, I just heard. No, that wasn't me at all.
Hang on a second.
I bring
Rebecca.
this-
Hang on, Rebecca, there's only,
Yeah, hang on a
there's
second,
only
because
three.
there's only room for three. So there's three in there at the moment. Because it only, it's a little passage, it just turns to the left.
I'll give you 11. I'd only get last in there.
And you two are tall, so watch your heads.
Like, I don't just walk in there.
And especially when you come out. Because everybody forgets by the time they come out.
Oh, that's a door.
It's a little passage. Now, I stood at that door and I asked my husband what had happened to all the little passages in the thickness of the walls and the little rooms in the thickness of the arches.
Pass it over.
And what's your head? Yeah. Watch your head's coming out because it's much lower than you think. And he stood there and looked me straight in the face and said they never existed. But you can see that's blocked from 3 directions.
Yeah. So that was in Castle Matrix, castle in County Limerick. There.
What
And
was
that
the
was
EVP you got in there?
So if you listen back to it, there it's a sound of like it sounds like humming noises, like children. So there is when we first heard that, I was like, wow. You know, listening back to the group of people that were on that video, I heard it over the recordings and showed them, and they were like, wow. That's why some of them did probably left the team, because they weren't expecting that. You know, so
Children
it's probably,
start humming. That's terrifying.
yeah. So it was like you could hear it in the distance. I think it's like humming. Now it
Yeah,
could
okay.
be one. It could have been one of the team there that day, but I doubt it very much. And there has been reports
Right.
of children, a girl playing around in that castle there, like so. That's probably one of the best EVPs we got, and that was in the first few months. So I must go back to what we were doing in the first few months, to what we were doing now, you know. So
That's awesome. Okay, so this one is. Oh, you're gonna have to pronounce this one for me.
this is Onacat Cave, and this is in County Roscommon, and this is where the shapeshifter, the goddess of war, the Morrigan, is supposed to frequent every Halloween. This is where Halloween is supposed to have originated. Now this is just audio.
Really?
Yeah.
Tour
So,
de Danann.
Yeah. True.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, we-
Tour de Danann. Tour de
We
Danann.
ended
Yeah.
up giving one of my daughters one of her middle names. It's Morgan.
Is it? Ah, there you go. You know your stuff there. You know your stuff there, Beast. Yeah.
I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, great. I'm gonna go ahead and play this one.
It cost me the.
Did.
It cost me the.
Did.
Awesome. So yeah, talk us through that one.
Okay, so that was down in a cave. So we're below ground, and what we used now was a device. It was a simple, what was it, the Nintendo DS, and it was playing. There was a little feature on the Nintendo DS where you can reverse the recording so very quickly. So we were asking questions and then reversing it. What we got on there was that the actual, when it was recording, it just somehow just pressed, the device just quickly started recording, and there's a sound there that says "Who's there?" You know. Now this voice, I think, has been caught on other people's paranormal investigators' equipment. The actual word and "Who's there?" So it's, I'm wondering, I suppose down in that cave there was like a ritual, a rite of passage for every young adult man to go down there in pure darkness, to go down the depths of it and come back out again. It was like a ritual to manhood they would have to perform. And so getting that voice, "Who's there?" it could be just a past voice, maybe, as they say, the stone tape theory, a past moment of time that came into our time. Possibly something like that. I don't know. But it was just,
Yeah, especially if you're hearing it across multiple people's investigations, it could be one of those imprints
that's it.
where there's so much energy there, it just repeats itself over and over again.
True.
Okay, so this next one here we've got at Governor's Rock on Ross Island. Okay, I'll go ahead and play this one.
No.
Central. Okay, I think we're going to let it go because it could get even more spooky.
I know, yeah, nice.
Stop. Central. Okay, I think we're going to let it go because it could get even more spooky.
I know, yeah, nice.
Stop.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, I could hear that whispering there.
Yeah. That's that was down not far from where that was an investigation we did back in 2011 or 12. It was close to the area where we first investigated in 2009, and it's supposed to be it's a old copper mines that were there, and I think it was to do, as you can hear quite plainly, there was only 3 of us there, and 2 of us were male, and the other one was female, my wife Jen. And that's sounds like another child's voice, and it sounds like Shadi, which is French for, I think it's I want, I need, and I think it was into relation to do with the little bell or thing that we were using as a divination tool, like a little planchette or glass. There's a little bell, a thimble. So yeah, maybe it was wanting that, so.
Yeah. Oh man, you're experiencing all sorts of ghost children.
Yeah, I know, yeah. You won't want to be hanging around me now anyway. Not this time in the morning, we'll get no rest.
Boy, that's... I don't think I ever get scared of stuff. You start involving kids, though, and it starts getting spooky. All right, cool. So this is something you caught on camera here.
Yeah, it's just a little bit different.
Go ahead and...
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
The King's Arm Hotel.
Do you seek power?
I thought I saw something down there under the bed. And I'm trying to talk myself out of, was it something reflecting from my glasses? Is that kind of
But
language?
there was something here as well. It was like a white thing came up down here. It was like footsteps or something, like little white little dots
Okay.
coming down here.
But you haven't moved the camera in quite a while, have you?
Oh, no, I haven't moved it at all.
Because if it was the camera, it would have happened again. I thought I saw something down there under the bed. And I'm trying to talk myself out of, was it something reflecting? I thought I saw something down there under the bed. And I'm trying to talk myself out of, was it something reflecting?
Great. Yeah, so talk us through that one.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's very there's a little quick flash at a few seconds in, and it's just a little change in the luminosity of the room, and it's very quick, and it's I don't know whether it's to do with like dust floating and reflecting off the light coming off the video camera, But if it is that, it's interesting to know how light reflects and how it may interrupt with our lenses in our own eyes, and that's what may cause visions of quick flashes or silhouettes and all that, you know. But it's interesting what Ashley saw. The two people that were wearing glasses saw this kind of white flash. I didn't see anything, but I probably wasn't concentrating. But the camera did pick up a change in the luminosity of the room, and so it's yeah.
At the same time, that's incredible.
Yeah, just seconds beforehand.
Right across, 3 types of people. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sending those in. So we'll play them a few times there. Okay, so let's move on to our next questions. So, what do you think that we need to do, paranormal investigators need to do to prove ghosts once and for all?
Proves.
What do you think will be the key?
I suppose the key to prove ghosts. I suppose it's hard. I suppose it's up to the techno. It's how we prove them. Is it through? We're not going to prove them through our own personal experiences. Possibly not.
Probably not. No. And there's so many. Again, there's so many like yours here. There's so many EVPs out there. There's so many photos. There's so many videos. At a low guess, I mean, probably thousands upon thousands. And sure, maybe not every single one of them is real, but I'd be hard pressed to think that even if one of them was real, it's real. But I'd go as far to say there's probably a lot more than that. As you guys do your due diligence and trying to not, put things out there that can be explained otherwise. So, but clearly, it seems like even though there's all this proof, doesn't always seem to work. So what do you think is going to be the thing that can prove ghosts? Like something we don't have yet, a technology we don't have yet, something we haven't done yet? What do you think is going to do that?
I suppose if we, it's hard to say. I suppose it's the management of time. I suppose that's the fourth dimension is going back or trying to figure out what is that next dimension there. As you said, as a paranormal investigator, I don't think we're going to get it. I think we might get the significance of knowing what's in the afterlife, maybe from a doctor on an operating table, from a patient that's about to die. Maybe something like that will probably come on, or somebody like a funeral director who's just witnessed a person come alive again, or something like that. Yeah. I don't think or a roadside accident or something like that. I don't think we're going to get it through going to locations that's going to really be credible enough to show the world that this is it. This is definitive that ghosts do exist.
Mainstream science.
I think it's through quantum physics, through atoms. How they evolve, how they travel, how they make up gases, liquids, solids, and the mind. I suppose the brain is the main thing there. If we explore more of the mind, neurological capabilities, then we could probably find out a lot more.
That's a that's a pretty good answer. It's probably a pretty legitimate answer as well. That Jace may as well be it.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's going to be creating a sort of Ghostbusters canister that sucks ghosts into it anytime soon. So
not yet.
That might be the way.
You might do with bugs, but I don't know with ghosts.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so if you're comfortable with it, you want to tell me what your thoughts on what ghosts are? Anywhere from dead spirits, energy, angels, demons, interdimensional beings. I hope I'm not being. I don't mean to be silly here, but I mean the Sheath, fairies, anything like that. What are your thoughts on what ghosts are, or if there's multiple types?
Yeah, it's interesting. I suppose as humans, we trying to categorize everything, and it could be just one entity creating all this shit for us to try and see. It could be otherworldly, could be aliens, could be an angel, could be a fairy. They could be all the same because they all have kind of similar characteristics. They're all subdivided then into different categories then as well. Like it's we categorize these kind of spirits. So it's to just give us kind of to make us feel better. As a ghost myself, I think it's maybe an echo that we are there, not actually there, but our brains are actually transmitting out. So we're finding information from outwards and bringing it in. It's like telepathy. So we're not actually, there's no actually probably ghosts there. They're probably there, but they might be in their own dimension, but they're not coming to us. We're getting the information from them. Our minds are travelling, not them coming to us. We're taking the information from them. I don't know if that makes sense. I think it's...
Yeah, I mean, would you put that in the realm of astral projection?
Yeah, probably be astral protection. And like we did an experiment using like a brain, like it was a model of a brain. It was in different sections. We asked what part of the brain on the Ouija board can mark out using, say, A1 is the parietal lobe, A2 is the frontal lobe, and all that. We asked them where do ghosts, what part of the brain shuts off, never shuts off. And I think it was to do with the parietal lobe or something like that, forgetting now the part of the brain, but it was the one part of the brain that notices pain. And it's like a computer that shuts down, makes us die, but reboots us again. So this part of the brain never dies. Now there's parts of the brain that we haven't ventured into or know what it's used for. There's a segment of the inner kind of, I forget the name of it, it's like a very peanut-sized part of the brain. It's in the inner two hemispheres there, and females are supposed to have 70% more than males of this. Maybe that's why women are more in tuned. But
let's see,
I think
just a quick Google search here, thalamus.
Yeah, thalamus. It could be thalamus. That for the brain, it's great. It's that part of the brain knows when to shut down. When a person is coming to extreme pain, that it knows, right, it's time to reboot. Okay, it's time to go to the next level. You know. So I think we go from a physical form, where what we think is the brain, it's physical there, but there's an ethereal kind of section, part of it that knows what to do, and then reboots into the next dimension, possibly there. That's what we got through that experiment there, you know. So, and there's neuroscientists that we asked them, and there's plenty of them that know that asked them, and they do believe in an afterlife, the majority of them, because in their experience the brain is capable of not being a physical thing. It is a physical thing that we feel and we can touch and all that once we're all dead. Obviously I can't touch the brain, now the cerebrum, but there is a non-physical side to it as well, which knows what to do, and it's still, you know, and it's there in the ethos, and it continues on.
Wow, well that's awesome. Yeah, I haven't heard that take before. I love it. I love hearing everyone's thoughts on that. So, okay, yeah, you're talking scientists believing in the afterlife. What are your personal beliefs in the afterlife?
I suppose, yeah, as I said there, like, I think it's just ourselves on this physical, like what we're doing now at the moment, is just picking up information from what's out there. Now there is probably another world out there, another world, but my thoughts of ghosts, I think, you know, it's...
Or what happens after you die?
Well, after I die? Well, I'll let you know. I'll come over there. Kansas there.
Good, I'll be ready.
We'll do the home swap then.
Yeah.
It's easy on travel. But it's, whatever we do, I suppose it's like fishing, and it's the hobby. Some people treat it as a hobby, and I still treat it like it's a good, interesting thing to do. And it's forming bonds with my colleagues and going to these unique places around Ireland and abroad. That apart from the paranormal side, it's an amazing way of life as well.
Great. Okay, so how does doing this affect your personal and professional life? Do you ever get any backlash from friends, family?
Well, I don't have any friends. I'm only joking. I'm messing there. I bet I'm not like a big groupie. I'm kind of introvert, like, you know. So I'm always family
Mhm.
first. So it's my kids first. I'm a house husband there. I do have a disease, Crohn's disease, and I don't look like it there, but my stomach is very bad, you know.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sorry to hear that.
no, it's fine now. I've got it under control at the moment there. But you know, it's the family. You know, take it as it is. Like people, the media would be more, you know, that would be more like wary of. Like, you know, they say, "Oh, you're a ghost hunter, ghost hunter." No, no, just don't go looking for the afterlife. I go for doing our ESP tests and all that. You know, seeing how we interact in different environments. So it's not just that. So it's the media that are mostly putting down paranormal investigators in Ireland. Our national broadcasting service RTE is no help at all. You know, we
Really,
rely
I
on,
was planning on asking about that. RT is
yeah,
no help, really.
RTE, Virgin Media, no help at all. They kind of laugh at
Oh,
the kind
Virgin
of,
Media. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they kind of laugh at us there, and they kind of make, you know, just for their own kicks, like, you know. Well,
Oh,
we
that's
rely,
unfortunate. I do like to
yeah,
watch the RT.
we rely on probably people doing their solo independent kind of film projects to come over here, and we help them out there, you know. Since
Right.
Discovery, they did a series, Spooked Island, which it was on myself. And now they're coming down, they're calling it a wrap now on paranormal shows now. I don't think
Oh,
there's many
really?
being broadcast anymore. So that's where I think most of the interest is going.
Okay, so this question is unavoidable, unfortunately. But how do you think AI is going to affect the field of paranormal
Right?
research? Do you see it more of a hindrance, more fakery, more inability to, let's say you get a really great EVP or a really great photo, a really great video, and some other person's use AI to do something similar, and so now your work's always going to be a question, it's gonna something like that where something can be faked, and as the faking gets better and more realistic, obviously
Hmm.
I see some paranormal investigators already using a ton of AI,
Hmm.
and then just AI and just some smaller ways too. But it does beg that question of, where, if you're using it at all for your team, what line do you draw? But at the same time, as as a learning model or something, I'm not very familiar with it, but as it does learn more, and if it's able to scan books and websites of paranormal research, as well as go through EVP files or video files or photos, do you think at the same time it's going to find correlations? Do you think it's going to benefit the
Hmm.
field, or benefit better, improve the technology to do the research? What are your thoughts on how AI is going to affect this?
Yeah, with AI, I suppose if most people probably put like paranormal investigators mostly put their info on social media sites rather than websites and all that. So you probably have to rely on the social media platforms to actually give permission to analyze and go through all people's findings and all that. We've used AI quite a lot now. Actually, recently we used it in the first series of Phantasm Collective for transcription, for picking out, putting it in documents what has come up off a ghost box. So it's
Wow.
a
Okay.
company called Assembly.ai, and they gave us permission to use the software in the first series, and it's a way of just putting down from transcription from audio into wording. So it was kind of
Yeah,
accurate. It was very
I've
accurate,
seen
which is
that.
great, and which is the use for this was just to see what words were coming up of a box, not relying on what we think it is, like the usual numbers and all that. How many people here? It says five, and we figure that says five. This is
Right.
actually more accurate and gives it more what comes down, puts it in written paper, so you see the amount of times the ghost box actually blurts out crap then as well. So
Yeah.
so it's great AI. I think it's going to benefit. There's going to be pros with it, and then there's going to be cons. As you said, there's going to be people faking pictures, but there is software there that can find out which pictures are fake then as well. So there's AI artificial.
There's that. I do wonder how many people will actually look into that, or may just ignore it without ever doing the further research. But that's okay. Well, that's neat. You're actually already using AI in your paranormal research.
Yeah. I think it's.
Okay, and you're finding it beneficial
I
so far?
I found
Or
that
using it to go through EVP.
Yeah, I found that beneficial. Yeah, I found it very interesting, and what was coming up with the dialogue, the word in it was interesting. I did one experiment there in the Phantasm Collective series. There's one episode where I did transmediumship, and I can do a bit of I feel like channeling, and I do a bit of channeling there. But there's a ghost that came through my vocals there, and what was happening was that the transcription software was picking up what was coming out of my mouth, and what that wrote out was completely different to what came out of my mouth. So you could be saying that the ghosts were affecting the transcription software, not actually. It wasn't actually picking up my voice. What came out was completely weird. It was saying things like, "In you, I would come out. In you, I am only Fee Greenaway." Which was fields away or something like that, and we were only about 3 fields away from a monastery, and we were picking up friars, monks in this theatre. So it's an interesting. It's more interesting. We were holography as well. We were trying to use that holograms. The first time I felt that channeling or being taken over was in another theatre in County Waterford, in Waterford City. And we used holography, so I did ask out questions, but there was a kind of hologram of myself, and it's pretty easy to do if you look up on the internet. It's like a hologram, and I was asking questions. It was just my head which was asking questions, but it was in a type of hologram. The experiment went well. I felt excited in a kind of euphoric way because the experiment went well, just because we got the hologram to work. But we did a talking board session, and in it said, during it, when I asked a question, one reply came back is, "In you I will live," and that was to me. So we did a seance afterwards up on the stage, and I felt my body I lost control of my body, and the words started coming out of my mouth. Now I could have taken it as though I was being possessed, but I thought this was a learning curve, and I thought this was channeling, and that's how I was able to progress there. So using different techniques. I think the way there's going to be so much. It's going to blow up the amount of technology that's coming out there now. There's bits of stuff that we're hoping to use in the second series of Phantasm Collective there, which is, I'll probably have to keep under wraps at the moment. But there's some bits of stuff there. But collecting data and units of measurement is the main essential part of paranormal investigating anyway, and maybe that will help with the AI.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's here to stay. So, it's exciting, to a degree, to see you already getting a head start on it.
Just one little thing there, side piece, before I pass on that question. I just one very brief there. I do a talk, and it's called Paranormal Investigating Outlawed. And with that talk, there's the past, the present, and the future. And the future, as I mentioned, it is AI with paranormal investigating, but it's not also to do with paranormal investigating. I got a shiver on my back. It's to do with saying you've lost a loved one, and you've spent 3 months with that loved one, your husband or wife. They died, and you really like them, but AI is able now to create a mock version of that deceased person. Now, do you, after 30 years with that AI, form a bond with that relationship and that consciousness? Is that robotic, or you could say robotic entity, more conscious of being in the afterlife than your deceased partner? Will you bond more with that AI more than you did with your deceased partner for 3 months? a replica of that deceased person. It's interesting because people like stars like William Shatner are invested on it. They've been bringing out software to it, and people that are in, I think it was on Euronews, there's been people that was if you look up Euronews, and I think it's AI Afterlife, you can see there was a fella recently, past couple of years, that was dying, and he did he used AI to redistribute his voice to his wife. So I think AI could be the next ghost, possibly. It's interesting.
Wow.
It's interesting, and then there'd be like sort of defamation. There'd be sort of things with AI that you won't be able to hunt celebrities because of their defamation and all that. So paranormal investigation could be outlawed in the future.
That's terrifying, right? I think
it could be because of AI.
Right. There's a lot to unpack and think about here. Thank you for bringing all that up.
I'm sorry.
That's wow. That's a lot. So I've not considered. So yeah, all right. Let's go into great some of this stuff here. Of course, you were. I'm gonna include your articles here on the Irish Examiner, the Limerick Post, and then so it looks like you guys have done a ton of stuff. Not only are you an author, you do the video podcast, public speaker, paranormal documentary producer. You're on TV. You're on Expedition X, Spooked Ireland, and then
I wasn't on Expedition X. Sinead was on Expedition X with T. Cully, but I wasn't.
Okay, and then you keep bringing up your own miniseries, Phantasm Collective. So this is just a ton of amazing stuff you guys are doing. Do you want to touch on any of that?
No.
You said you got
no. Okay. I think most people have touched upon it there. There is one little thing that I'm doing with the kids at the moment, and it's a new board game, which is hopefully it's going to be branded under the Ghost Éire brand, but it's a board game, and it's dedicated with the kids. I got 2 children, one 9 and one 8. And it's our project over the summer holidays to make a board game, and whatever it is, if it doesn't, we haven't got like the rules out yet, but it's looking good. But hopefully, even if we just manufacture it ourselves, it's great there. But hopefully, it may in the future be out for sale in years to come, But that's the next step. But it's
I will be your first customer.
Yeah, it's cool. It's going to be touch upon traitors and Ghost Castle. I don't know if you remember the kids' game Ghost Castle.
I'm not sure. I know I've been doing that recently because I have 2 daughters. One of them is 1, and the other one is she's just 3 months old. And I've been picking up a lot of old paranormal and ghost board games from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So I've been picking a lot of those up. That's been really fun. So if you're coming up with your own board game, I will absolutely be your first customer. You let me know when it's available.
Cheers, Bees. Yeah, definitely. And it's you got loads of joy time ahead of you. It's going to be amazing. The kids there. It's going to be fun.
Being a dad is the coolest thing in the world.
Definitely.
Okay. So, do you guys sell any merchandise, T-shirts, anything like that?
I can sell this T-shirt. It's a bit sweaty. I'm only joking. No, not at the moment. We've just got
the X-Files T-shirt, famous.
Used. No, we've got the books, the 2 books. We're hoping to come out with a 3rd book in another few years' time if I get time. But that's about a quarter of the way through writing it out now. But that's probably the next thing that people can buy.
Great for the listeners. What are your 2 books?
The first book was The Rising of Haunted Ireland. That was published in 2016. That was kind of rushed kind of book. Then the second one, which I had more time on, was 2022. That's called Drowned Out Voices. And so it documents of the investigations, like 13 locations in each book, and It documents. I look back on the footage and I write out what happened in that investigation, with the experiments and all that. So the history, it's the format of each chapter is that you get the one individual paranormal investigator's perspective of getting to the location. Then it's the investigation. Then the third part is the history, and the fourth part is the results, the analysis of it afterwards. Then, so it's like a pulp fiction of each chapter. It might go back to 2010 with one investigation, and it's 2016, and it's back to 2009, something like that. The next chapter. So it's all these different historic locations there that we've done there, and all around Ireland. The fifth one will be hopefully abroad. The locations we've done abroad, then that would be the final one. And each book represents an element of the world. So the first one was earth, green. Second one was water. The next one would be air. So that'd be yellow.
Okay. Where can you buy those out? Drowned Out Voices and is it Haunted Ireland?
You can buy if you look up the manuscript publisher in Ireland. He would have them, or if you could just on our website www.ghosteire.net. Our
I'm
website
here right
there,
now.
people can
Manuscript Publishers.
people.
Okay.
Yeah, people can just click on the book covers and it'll bring them to the payment.
Great. Well, I will
sections there,
include
or just
those links also. I will be picking up a copy of that. Okay, so tell me, what are all the best ways for someone to get in contact with you if they want to talk, if they want to schedule or talk to you about getting an investigation done? What are the best ways to get in contact?
as in a ghost or a person. the ghost can come to me now, like I'm fucked, but a person
24/7.
24/7, not in a little bit. I'm going for sleep, but a person could they can contact me through my website www.ghosteire.net. There's a contact page, so you just fill in the blanks there.
For anyone who isn't familiar with the spelling there, that is Ghost Eire .net.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, Ghost and then Éire is in Ireland and then .net. So they can contact E-Father, that's the word. They can contact me through the social media platforms as well. We're on Facebook and Instagram as well. We're not on TikTok. We don't tend to go on that. But yeah, people, more than happy to contact us there. More than happy to speak to them.
Yeah, it seems like you've got a lot going on between talks and your series and your books. There's a lot to delve into here. I'm excited. I'm
Thank you.
incredibly excited for this board game. I'm going to pick up these books. I'm really excited to start watching Phantasm Collective. A lot of exciting stuff ahead. Okay, so for my last question here, what is your favorite ghost movie, TV show, book, character? What's your favorite ghost thing?
All right, so say favorite. I suppose Ghost Watch is my favorite program. I suppose that inspired me, scared me to hell. Book. I found Richard Jones, who does the Jack the Ripper tours in London. I bought my sister got a book about haunted places that he wrote. He was also Richard Jones on Most Haunted as a historian, Most Haunted series and lives. He did a book about ghosts around Britain and Ireland that inspired me. That really got an interest in me especially when I was had my illness, when my Crohn's disease was affecting me. But I read that book and it was amazing. Films, don't tend to go with much horror films, but not really a big horror film.
Right. Could be Casper the Friendly
Casper.
Ghost.
I think there was a fella that actually the ghost. I think the ghost hunter's called Carrigan there. Carrigan, like my second name there. It's similar. I think it's Carrigan. She says, I don't know. That was the ghost hunter woman. I think her name was Corrigan or Kerrigan. Yeah, so I suppose that's about it. Ghostbusters I like Ghostbusters. Obviously every person likes Ghostbusters. The only thing is that the media Always think you're
Yeah.
a Ghostbuster. Um,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I think I got Ghostbuster stuff in the background, might be able to see. But He-Man, yeah, He-Man at the moment, that's the rage, yeah. But yeah, that's, yeah, it's,
Hell yeah.
yeah, that's all about myself at the moment there, yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Have you ever read like Tig and the Corpse?
Tiger Comes, no.
Oh, it's an old Irish ghost story. Pretty fun. Okay, well,
Tiger and the
Tig,
Ghost. Oh, yes,
Tiger
it could be
King
that.
and the Corpse. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
shit, eh?
well, Anthony, it was super awesome to meet you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know you're again super late where you're at. Super early. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
No, really, thank you, Priest, for inviting me on, and I really appreciate it. I hope listeners, I'll share this away there, and all the great, joyful times ahead for yourself, with your children and family there. And, thank you for having me,
Yeah, you as well.
and have it.
No, again, thank you for doing this. I love talking to paranormal investigators, so this makes my day.
Yeah, boys, cheers, Bryce, there. Really appreciate it, and thank you. Go Margaret.
Ja, grab maget. Agus Killarney, Slán, Togaboge.
Slán. Gus, Dunny. Every one. Gak is every, Dunny's person. Yeah, Gak Dunny.
Perfect. Furfa. Okay, again, yes. Thank you so much for being on. And yeah, everybody tune in next week. I'll have links to everything for Ghost Éire on the show notes. And yeah, until next time, this has been the Ghost Room.
Bye now. Bye, everyone.